What's up, YouTube? It's Joe Catchpolia sitting on the couch, making some money investing in fractional real estate online, as usual. Today, we're looking at the arrived secondary market. They do have an upcoming webinar. Not sure if I'm going to be able to go to that. If any of you watch that and you have some good notes for me, I'd love to hear them. But I just want to go through what the secondary market looks like right now, a little bit of the homework I'm doing on it. If you've watched my other videos, you know I can't yet invest here. You have to have bought at least one property on arrived 60 days before you can invest in the secondary market. As soon as I found that out, I bought one, just picked a random one and bought it. Didn't really do a whole lot of due diligence or anything. Because I think the real opportunity on this platform is going to be on the secondary market. And so far, it doesn't seem to be disappointing. So when you get to the main page, you see this button here, secondary market, and it'll say, I know my face is covering it, but it just says secondary market and has a date range. When you click on that, oh, I didn't mean to click on it because I already have it up on another page. Oh, okay, well, I'm screwing this all up already. You guys are used to that, right? This is not a very professional channel, and I think that's how we all like it. Okay, so you get to this page, secondary market listings. It's not a ton right now, right? This is just their first batch. What I did was I sorted it just by best available price, right? You can sort this, and so this is basically showing the biggest discounts from what arrived has it valued at, right? Um, Now we're going to believe Arrived's price? No, right? I mean, obviously we're not. We're going to do our own due diligence on all of this stuff. But I wanted to dig into, what it looked like in general, and if it just seems like there's some opportunity. So when you open these up, and this is what, so you get you get the property, what their valuation is, what the yield is at their valuation, how many shares are listed, and then they just show you discount to valuation. Now, sometimes these shares, they'll just like this one, there's just one that's at that discount, but then you've got another 20 that are at an okay discount, and then most of them are really close to that price. One of the things that I can't figure out is we've got buy orders that are more money than sell orders, but that aren't triggered yet. And I don't really understand why that is. Three current highest buy orders and three lowest sell orders for this property that haven't matched yet. I don't understand why these haven't matched. We've got an 1105 buy order. It should match with a $10 sell order, I would think. So I don't know if they're having some problems, if this data isn't updating. I would think anytime you have a buy order that's at a higher number than a sell order, that should trigger a sale. I mean, hopefully they don't have it so that you just have to buy exactly their sells or sells exactly their buys. That would be really weird. Um, I don't know if you're already using this and you've seen this. Let me know what you're thinking if there's a problem. Um, or maybe this just hasn't started yet. Although the dates, what were the dates that we saw? 8/1 through 8/8. Yeah. So no, it should have started. Um, zero recent trades. So I mean, none of these have triggered yet. So I'm really curious if these are working. If they, I'm curious what's going on. But so what I did is I went through and I took just the top 10 biggest discounted deals because there's going to be just tons of these properties to go through. I'm not actually going to have access to any of these ones. It's going to, well, until in November, all of these are, I think all of them are going to be available on the secondary market, and there'll be a short window. And I think in that purchase window, I'll be able to buy. So right now, I'm just trying to pay attention, see what types of deals there are. But if you get a 22% discount from their valuation, as long as their valuation isn't completely ridiculous, um, maybe we can make some money here. So what I did, I just took the top 10 for right now. So just listed the properties, top 10 discounts, figured out what their valuation was, and what they say their yield is at their valuation. And then use that to just estimate a dividend. I'm sure if I open up each one of these properties and really dig into it, I probably could have pulled a dividend. So this is not going to be perfect info. I wanted to figure out what I could do quick pulling off of this screen. Um, what we're really going to need is like a Lofty Assist product for Arrived. So Limas, if you're watching this, please add that to your to-do list. We're going to need the same sort of thing, right? Hopefully that happens. We'll get somebody will come out sort of as a data aggregator for the secondary market, or if not, hopefully Arrived's user interface. um, what I'd love to be able to do is download a spreadsheet from theirs where I'm digging into this, or be able to look at this in a more reasonable way where I'm not just pulling them one by one. I guess I'm just really being selfish, though. I mean, it didn't take too long to do this, but I really don't want to have to open up every single property to put the actual dividend in. So hopefully I'll spot check this later. Hopefully this math actually works out. And so then I went and opened up each one to see where the cheapest shares are. And I wonder if in here, does it actually show the dividend on this page? Maybe that would have been easier. Oh, dividend paid, 4.02. See, it just tells you a percent. I don't know why they don't just tell me the actual amount. I mean, because like 4.02% of $10 seems like a weird number, right? Or is that 40 cents? 40.2 cents? Like I don't know. Let's do the math on that because maybe my brain is just not working right. Okay, so we got $10 times 0.0402. Yeah, 40.2 cents. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. What are we doing there? Um, because that dividend is based on their initial $10 share price. And so their valuation says it's above. And one of the things that's good about the way they're doing this is we get to just ignore whatever that initial share price is. And I think we should, right? Like on Lofty, you have everybody focused on like the $50 token price, and that price is meaningless, right? Like um, Arrived's valuation might also not be accurate, but we need to figure out like what are these shares worth, right? But anyway, so I took that 39 cents, which is what I got from multiplying this by this. Maybe it should really be closer to 40 cents looking at what they paid on the last $10. So maybe this isn't perfect. Um, Regardless, it got to be about 3.75% yield, 3 3/4. I did this for all the, just for the top 10 biggest discounts so far. I think this is how. I don't actually think this is going to be the best way to do it. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to just really go one by one, and it's cumbersome because there are like 400 or 500 properties on Arrived. I've been hoping there'd be some obvious like, oh, only some of them have discounted tokens, but there's actually quite a few that have at least some discounted tokens. If you go through, you know, I mean, I did the top 10 in my list. I think I stopped here, but we still have, these are relatively decent discounts from what they say today's valuation is. If we, excuse me, if we believe that number. And so that's going to be the next thing that we're going to have to dig into, right? But I think what I'm trying to do is just come up with a way to identify properties to dig into further because there's just no way, even between now and November, that I'm going to really do the numbers on 400 arrived homes and still do all the other stuff that I'm doing in fractional real estate. I don't know, maybe each time, I know this is only happening this time where they are like doing it in stages. And then in the future, there'll be like, I think quarterly windows where this happens. And maybe during those weeks, I will just be like spending a lot of time looking at those or the weeks running up to it. Because once they've done this once and we get a sense of it, I think it'll really help to figure out, where is one of the things I wasn't sure is if we'd even see any real discounts, right? Like in who knows, are we actually? So what I did is I took the Tuscan because the Tuscan, it spit off the highest yield. I don't necessarily think the highest yield is the best way to go. I believe yield is temporary, basis is forever. And so, but it also is one of the deepest discounts from what their valuation is. So looked up the property, 165,520 invested at $10 each. So that's how, if you scroll down here, it tells you the total shares that are outstanding. This number becomes important. I found the loan amount, right? Because these are used with loans. One of the problems that I ran into is I couldn't find the current loan balance. Um, if I want to get really specific on these, I think one of the things I'll have to do is, create an amortization table if I can't find the loan balance anywhere. But I mean, that's a real important piece in valuing this equity. But if I can't find it, what I'm going to have to do is create an amortization table. Geez, do we not even have a closing date on here? A lot of the stuff too is in the offering circular. I don't think the current loan balance will be, but the details of the loan should be. And so then I can run that, and hopefully I can find the closing date. March 3rd. No, that's not it. That's looking at those. Um, I don't know. So that's what, that's another detail I'm going to find. At the moment, I just use the original principal balance as the current balance, and obviously that's wrong, but it's conservative wrong, right? It's like wrong in the direction that it's protecting us a little bit. Um, so I looked at that, and then I just took this property. I had to open the offering circular, which is, you just click. Where do they keep that? Yeah, I think in the details, right? You can find. I just did this. Yeah, offering circular here. Um, if you open that up, that's where I found the address, and you can find a lot more details. But it's a big document, so it's not necessarily the easiest. Oh, financial reports. What do we got there? Oh no, okay. This is again the SEC docs. Um, I don't think that's going to help us for what we're trying to do. I mean, obviously, if you feel good about looking at those. But so anyway, I got the address out of the offering circular and just looked it up on the three main platforms. Right, I checked it out on Zillow. Zillow thinks it's worth 482,000. That would be amazing because they bought it at what did they buy this one at? I'm gonna have to get used to this platform a little bit. 320, right? And that seems like crazy. Let's close that because it's just thinking forever. It seems like crazy appreciation, but if you think about the timing of it, I think these are some of the earliest ones on the platform. So I think that this purchase might have been far enough back that it actually is, you do have some real appreciation since then. Um, Plus, they did some improvements on the property. But when I looked at Realtor, we were significantly lower, 428.20. But again, it's still a good profit. And then if we look at Redfin, it was kind of in the middle. And this one seems to match up most closely. And so what I did is put this in. I mean, we're doing guerrilla math here, right? Oh, before I forget, please like and subscribe. In the description to this video, I have links to all the sites where I currently invest on fractional real estate. Please do your own due diligence. If you're using any of those links to invest on any of those properties, dig into the terms of service, look, do your own due diligence on all the platforms. Some of them are so bad that they say they're going to give you $50 free when you sign up, and you don't really get it. And they say they're keeping track of it, but at the moment, who knows? But you want to do your own due diligence on those platforms, and on any properties on there. Just because I invest on some of these and I mention, oh, Mogul's my favorite one and I like investing on there, doesn't mean that you should. Just because I think they put on average the best deals out doesn't mean those should be the ones that you buy. You want to dig into them yourself. I'm trying to share the way I think about deals, on the due diligence that I do, and just on my journey in fractional real estate investing in general. So you want to do that, and then also, if you're looking for a place to talk to other fractional real estate investors, there's about 110 of us that have joined my Discord so far. The link to that is also in the description to this video. Okay, so what triggered that thought in my brain? We were talking about, yeah, I'm just doing guerrilla math here, right? This is like, this is not enough for me to want to pull the trigger to buy any one of these, shares. And that's the other thing too, is here we're looking at actual securities. I'm really not giving you investment advice, relative to the security. I'm looking at what's the value of this real estate and how does that, if we divide that by the shares, how much value is the real estate in each one of these things, right? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. There's more to this calculation than that, right? The next thing we'll have to look at is, okay, what do their fees look like, as far as when they sell it? Are they taking a chunk? I don't remember. I'm going to have to dig into that. If anybody knows, feel free to post that. In the Discord or in the comments. I appreciate both. Either, wherever you want to give me the info is awesome. But if not, I'll just go into the offering circular and find, what their fees are relative to the sales. Because one of the things, this is, I put Zequity because I was originally just doing Zillow. But, this is implied equity based on these valuations and this loan amount. This is not considering any sorts of costs of sale, right? This is just saying like what is a real raw equity number there, and then how much is that per share. This is not a liquidation value. Are you going to make money per share? For some of these that have been held for a while, we really have to think about this because if you look at what they describe their plan as on here, is they're going to do 5 to 7 year hold, right? So if we're like more than halfway through that, we need to be like really sure that what we're paying today, that our liquidation value is going to be there, that we're actually making a profit from that sense. I mean, we already know we're not making huge returns, um, even with the discounts, you might only be making 6%. There was another one that was like 5.8. You're not going to get really strong yields out of any of these. Maybe if we dig into some of the ones with less discounts, there will be higher yields. I'll have to do some of that math. Um, but here, if we look at, okay, I thought this was interesting when we look at the Redfin valuation and then take out the debt and look at what that valuation is, $16 and change, and we look at what okay, so they're using a valuation similar to Redfin's probably, because they've got 1678. Um, I don't know. I found this a little bit promising, right? Like I can't pull the trigger on this one, so I didn't go and do a full due diligence into whether or not this is one I should buy or not. But I think that doing this initial work on here leads me to believe, that there are going to be some deals. Now, why these aren't actually triggering yet, I'm not sure. Um, wonder if any of them have had trades. I know a couple of people have already talked about, yeah, no trades on that one. I mean, you'd think that some of the ones with the biggest discounts would have already had some trades. I saw some that had an insane number of shares listed. I mean, 2,000 is a pretty big number. Yeah, no trades. I wonder if their platform's not actually working, even though these are up. Um, or if it's not giving me the data because I'm not allowed to trade yet. I think that's another possibility. If you're somebody who already is allowed to trade and yours looks different than mine when you get in here, you're actually seeing some recent trades, let me know. Let's click on view all. Yeah, open orders. Huh. Well, I'm getting nothing out of that. That's interesting. Um, so I'm really not sure. I mean, overall, I guess I think there's some potential here. I am excited, like, because I like the Arrive platform. I think their user interface is good. I think that overall they seem to be one of the more credible platforms. Just on average, their deals just haven't been great deals, right? I think the way they go about, in my opinion, right? When they tell me your yield is going to be 3%, I'm not like, woo, 3%. That's not exciting, right? If I can get a discount so that I'm getting, um, so that I'm getting a 6% yield, or discount on this one that was 4.7, and I'm getting up to 6. And once it sells, I think I'm going to get a little bit extra money, and that's what I really need to dig into, their sales info and what they charge on that, right? Because again, this number, it doesn't account for closing costs. It doesn't account for fees that they're going to charge, and any cost that it's going to take them to wind down the security, which might be some additional cost. So we're going to really look into what that's going to be. But just like really, on the surface, it looks like maybe this is actually worth $16 or so. And there's one share available for 13, and then okay, and then we don't really have a big discount. So maybe this is going to be like Lofty, where you can only get a couple little ones. Maybe a lot of these real big discounts are going to come from $1 shares, but I mean this one has 20 at 10.50, which is a decent discount from 13.10. So it'll be interesting to see. Let's look at these. I mean, this one has an insane amount of shares listed, and they're just showing, I guess, the cheapest. Yeah, 2,240 shares listed. So there's 50 at this deepest discount. It's not a huge discount, but there are 50 available. But again, like if this home is selling in a couple of years, right? If these are some of the older ones, and we can figure out where, okay, we're going to get paid for, if we can find ones where we're going to get paid 4 or 5%, but then in 2 or 3 years, it's going to sell, and we're going to get at least another 10% pop, but probably, if it's already been appreciating, maybe get some more. I mean, yeah, it's still not super exciting deals, but if we're getting, a 20% pop because there really is a 20% discount, well, then we're starting to get more exciting to me. Um, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while of digging through these, seeing how the trading really works. One of the things that I'm interested to see is if the discounts get bigger as time goes on because people really want out and there's not a lot of buyers. Or it's possible that they get smaller, right? It's possible that there's a lot of us looking at these secondary market deals, and some of you have lower return criteria than I do. I mean, obviously, a lot of people do because they're investing on Arrive to begin with. And like, if you just look at the homes they put out on a daily, on a regular basis, they're never offering you, um, they're never offering you a high percent return or a high percent cash on cash, right? Their yield is always low. And, it's always a single digit yield. What do we got here? Yeah, 3.8%. Like, so the fact that these are all being bought up, I know that there are a bunch of people out there that will take a lower yield, and are hoping to have stronger appreciation. And, it's yet to be seen. Like, they haven't had any that have sold yet, I don't think, or at least I haven't seen any. Maybe they've have. I haven't. I'm not knowledgeable enough to say they haven't had any. But over time we'll see, as more of them or many of them start to sell, you'll see like, well, did they really do well with appreciation? Well, yeah, any of them that bought like before 2022 probably did fantastic, right? But if they the ones that were bought last year, this year, 5 to 7 years from now, are they going to be great deals? It's really tough to know. I don't know. But so I think the secondary market where we can buy, understanding that we're now closer to the end of the planned holding period. Um, and then we look at what's our discount now and can reasonably calculate an IRR based on what if we hold it another 2 years, what if we just hold it another year, what if we hold it 3 years. So I think this is where it's going to become really interesting. Um, Obviously, it's a brand new secondary market. They're just experimenting now. It doesn't look like there's any trades happening, but again, maybe I'm just not getting access to them because I'm not allowed to trade yet. Um, but yeah, I don't know. You can tell probably I'm a little bit excited. I think that it will be. Uh, I hope to have another platform where we can actually pick up some nice discounts. Because again, what is it? Yield is temporary, basis is forever. So I don't mind getting one that's yielding a pretty low number if we're going to sell it in a year or two and I'm going to get a large chunk of equity from that, right? And I think that that's, a large return on my equity from that. And I think that that's one of the things that, uh, where we may, excuse me, where we may see some opportunities here that we just don't see when you're buying into their initial IPOs, right? Like if you buy their initial ones, we're pretty far out from when you're actually going to get a sale, and the appreciation is all theoretical at that point, right? You're not sure what that's going to happen. When we're looking at today, we can figure out, well, what's today's value? Are we getting a real discount at the, today? Is it a discount? Not even thinking about, are we going to get continued appreciation into the future? So anyway, that's really all I wanted to share about this today. If you're actively trading on here, if you've made some trades, if you've got some orders up, let me know. I'm interested. Hopefully, we can get this discussion going in the Discord pretty well, because I think there's clearly going to be enough shares for lots of us to participate in this market and do well. So it'll be interesting to share some info and see what other people are doing. Anyway, until next time, I'm going to just keep making mistakes so that you don't have to.